Hello, class 5 social science. Your topic is natural disasters. Natural disasters or natural calamities. It is प्राकृतिक प्रकोप in Nepali. Natural disasters. This is a very crucial chapter which help you in your next higher classes as well. In fact, natural disaster will be a separate subject for discussion in next higher classes. Actually, let us discuss first what is the definition of the natural disasters. Such incidents or such events, such happenings which are caused by the forces of nature. Forces of nature. Forces. What are the forces of nature? Rainfall, wind. These are the etc. These are the forces of water. And sometimes these forces of nature cause heavy destruction. Destruction means loss of properties. Sometimes heavy loss of life as well. So, natural disasters or natural calamities are very fateful, very dangerous in fact for human civilization. In this chapter, we discuss about some of the natural disasters. Number one is earthquake. Earthquake, यसलाई नेपालीमा भुइँचालो अथवा भूकम्प भनेर जानिन्छ. So, earthquake, the sudden shake or sudden vibration of the surface of the land. That is earthquake. You know. And how does it cause? In fact, what causes earthquake? There may be couple of reasons, but most frequent reason is the movement of plates. Movement of tectonic plates. You know, the earth. In fact, deep inside the earth, there are certain plates which are structured. In fact, many plates, they are situated next to one another. These plates constantly move, though very unnoticeable pace, but they move. Sometimes they certainly move fast, or sometimes they collide with one another. They in fact pass one another. In such moment, certain vibration or certain movement can be felt on the surface. That is called earthquake. And in fact, where does the earthquake originate? In fact, where it begins from. Okay, that point of the deep inside the earth, suppose these are two plates and they are intend to collide with one another, they are intend to surpass with one another. In such a clay, in these areas, this part feel some vibration, and that part is called focus. I will see you as focus. Place of origin. Okay, focus to the place of the origin of earthquake. And in fact, this certain vibration or certain jerk can be felt straight up the surface of the land. Okay, this is called epicenter. Epicenter is above, directly above, perpendicular above, on the surface of the land where the focus is situated. Okay. So now earthquake sometimes is record of high intensity or sometimes low intensity. कुनै बेला ठुलो earthquake आउँछ है, धेरै धनमालको ज्यानमालको क्षति हुन्छ। कोही बेला एकदमै सानो कम इन्टेन्सिटीको earthquake आउँछ जसले चाहिँ धेरै क्षति गर्दैन र प्राय जसो यति सानो earthquakeहरू आउँछ जसलाई हामीले फिल पनि गर्दैनौं। त यो ठुलो अथवा सानो, ओके, हाउ large or small is the intensity of the earthquake? So how can we know about it? So that's a device which is called Richter scale. See, Richter scale. This device measures the intensity of the quake. How intense or how high intense or how low intense it is. Okay. So this is the onset of the earthquake. So now let us discuss some safety measures. If earthquake causes, how can we protect ourselves? Some important points are there. When earthquake occurs, we have to move to open areas, away from the construction, away from the structures, or we are stuck in case inside the home. At that point of the time, we need to keep ourselves under the table or bed so that any heavy object may not fall on us or doesn't cause us any injury. Okay. Next, number 2 is flood. In Nepali, badi. What is flood? Flood is overflow of water. One can say when water overflows or when river overflows and the water penetrates along with the banks. Sometimes it submerges the areas or low-lying areas next to the bank. That is called flood. So what causes flood is the question. Flood is caused by the heavy rainfall. When the intensity of rainfall is very high and the very heavy rainfall is recorded and the water bodies like rivers, streams overflow and submerges the low-lying areas. That is called flood. The flood damages the crops, in fact the properties and sometimes life as well. After flood, when the flood water recedes, okay, so there is a pre-possibility of outbreak of diseases like malaria, dengue, cholera, etc. Sometimes such diseases may lead to epidemics also. The word epidemics means when the disease spread in large scale. That is called epidemics. So this is a natural phenomenon. This may occur at any time. How can we be safe from the flood is the main question. Now, safety measures. See. So, flood monitored system in that must be installed, and that must work very actively so that the people which live next to the river banks can be evacuated, can be warned and evacuated timely. Number one. Number two, electrical appliances like television, fridge, computer. Such electrical appliances should be switched off so that no people can get injury out of electric shock. Now see, dams are the huge reservoir of water, They are constructed along with the river. So, dams should be maintained. Sometimes dams cannot hold the water and dams can be damaged and which further cause very great destruction. So, dams must be maintained periodically. Next, important, trees should be planted along the river. Trees should be planted along the river bank so that the root of the trees may hold the bank very tightly and doesn't let it to erode. Okay. Number three is drought. This is one of the very usual natural disaster. What is drought? Drought means the state of dry. नेपालीमा भन्नुपर्दा सुक्खा खरेडी पनि भनिन्छ यसलाई. So, drought is caused by the lack of water. In fact, when there is no rainfall for a long period of time, the springs go dry, the water level of rivers goes down, ponds, lakes also go dry, causing the acute shortage of water. Even drinking water supply affects. So that is the condition of drought. So due to drought, what happens? It affects both human beings as well as plants. Crops fail. Crop fails means there will be acute shortage of food. The supply chain of food is affected. So the people or animals can get affected due to the shortage of food. So there is every possibility of spreading of famine. The word F-A-M-I-N-E, famine means anikal in Nepali. Famine. My dear students, to avoid such situation, there must be a proper irrigation system so that when there is no rainfall is recorded for a long period of time, continuous supply of water can be restored. बारेमा भन्नुपर्दा तुफान तुफान okay tufan cyclone is very prone in the coastal areas means such areas or such relief feature which are close to the big water bodies like bays, oceans, seas, etc. So actually cyclones are violent storm caused by strong wind which sometimes are accompanied by heavy rainfall. There is a possibility of heavy rainfall also when cyclone occurs. Very strong wind, high intensity of wind. So that also causes destruction. Life of people as well as the properties get lost. And cyclone is known as some other names to a different part of the world. Somewhere it is known by hurricanes, somewhere it is known as typhoons, etc. So how can we get safety when the cyclone occurs? There must be a proper cyclone prediction system. So that cyclone prediction system is a government machinery which predicts, which foretells the occurrence of cyclone. So that must be working actively so that in time people can be evacuated before the onset of cyclone. In this way we can save the very precious life as well as we can reduce the damage of the properties as well. My dear students, along with the cyclone or drought or earthquake or flood, there are other calamities as well. Like landslide. Landslide is a falling of very huge landmass, which is normally a natural phenomenon occur in the hilly areas. That also can cause the destruction of life as well as the properties. So, my dear students, natural disasters or natural calamities are discussed in this chapter, and we discuss some safety measures as well. So, in the beginning I told you this is a very crucial subject matter which would be discussed deeply in next classes, but this is the introduction only, so that you can get initial idea about the natural disasters and their mitigation. So this much for today. Here we are concluding the whole chapter. Stay safe and stay watching. Thank you.